Hi everyone, it's that time again. The UK Games Expo is this weekend, the 1st to the 3rd of June at the NEC in Birmingham. I'll be there all 3 days trying out as many games as I can and hopefully meeting as many people as I can. But yeah, there's a lot to demo there. Maybe not as much to buy from me anyway as last year, but yeah, there will be tons to buy at Gen Con and Essen and the usual more releasier places. But anyway, this is the UK Games Expo. Before we get started, I will mention my Kickstarter that is running now and for the next almost 3 weeks. It's basically to support all of this going on, everything that I do, the UK Games Expo list, these convention preview videos, all of the playthrough videos that I do, all of it can't carry on without the support of the viewers of the show. So I hope that you enjoy what I do, and if you would like to support it, links will have been coming up in little white eyes in one of these corners. I should really learn which, or the links in the description. Anyway, let's get on with games. So I'll go in publisher order and try and be brief about them. Oh, it's easier to be brief as well because they're all demos that we don't really know that much about yet. So we have Alley Cat Games, Hall 1B6. They have done, well, I'm going to mention the games that they've done in the past. They did Cauldron Master that I did a playthrough for, but they are going to have the other two games on here. So we have Coral Islands. That is one of their new demos to try out. It has got beautiful, under the sea artwork, and it features dice stacking. I am sold on there, and they tend to put out great looking and great playing games. There was a better choice of words there, wasn't there? But yeah, looking forward to that. Dice Hospital, I did a playthrough for last year. That was on Kickstarter. They will be showing off, a more final prototype at the UK Games Expo. But I think that's definitely worth trying out. You can watch my playthrough for an idea of how it is. But it's a really, really great game where we are drafting dice for our patients and trying to get the right staff and the right rooms to be able to treat as many of those patients as we can. There is Pocket Pharma, which is a re-implementation of another game, but it's a nice card drafting game where we are trying to get the best pharmaceuticals, the best medical drugs. We are trying to develop and research them and make the most profit from them, basically, by trying to get the right combinations of cards to. It's kind of making poker hands. You have full houses and straights and things like that, but we are using those poker hands to make drugs. There is also Ruthless. That is a new pirate-themed deck builder that they will have there as well. I don't know much about that yet, but I'm really looking forward to trying that out too. At the amusement stand, Hall 1, stand J12, there will be Tales of the Northlands, the Sagas of Noggin the Nog, which was an animated show from long time ago that I vaguely remember seeing bits of when I was a child. We got shown a lot more Bagpuss. But this is don't let the theme fool you, it's a fairly heavy Euro game where we have our band of Nogs and we are trying to complete sagas that will need the assistance of various characters. We will be trying to gather resources that all work in different ways. You go fishing and draw tokens out of a bag to see what you get. There's different mechanisms for going mining, going woodcutting, and all of these things. It all works together beautifully, and there is a lot to it. There was a heavy cardboard live playthrough of it where you can see the game in action, but it's also going to be there in person at the amusement stand, and it's on Kickstarter right now, so you could check out the campaign page for more details as well. It's a really successful Kickstarter as far as I know. But yeah, that's Tales of the Northlands. Next is Aporta Games, who are going to have Santa Maria. They are in Hall 1, stand A6. It is a really great game. I did a playthrough for it near the end of last year that you can go and check out still. It's a dice drafting game where we are building our individual player boards and putting all these different activation tiles on it, and then when we draft dice, they're going to activate rows or columns of that player board. There's a lot more going on as well, but that's the main mechanism of it, and I personally really enjoyed it. It was in my top 10 of last year. That's going to be available at the Aporta Games stand. Next is Artipia Games in Hall 1, stand K2. They are going to have A Thief's Fortune, which is extra extra new, and there is extra little information about it. They only announced the title of it yesterday, but this is a card drafting engine building game. Mainly on here because I tend to really like Artipia games. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that out. They will also have, flicking off that page, they will also have Kitchen Rush, which is behind me. Did a video for that not long ago, which had Rachel in it. That is a really fantastic real-time game where our workers are sand timers and we are frantically trying to get as many dishes cooked as possible. I thought it was great, but you can see the playthrough or you can see it in person at the expo. And also the Pursuit of Happiness community, which is a video that will be coming up. I did a video for the original Pursuit of Happiness game, which is a brilliant worker placement game where you are trying to live out a life. You get hobbies, you enter relationships, you get jobs. It's a really, really great game that I did a playthrough for already, but this is the expansion that adds even more, you know, a 5th player. It adds loads of different item types and basically there is a video coming, but it's just more, isn't it? And that's always good for a game that you love. Is it always good? I shouldn't say always, should I? Probably good. Next, Asmodee in Hall 1, C10 are going to have When I Dream, which isn't a new game, but I just want to mention this because we played this not long ago. A friend's got a copy of it, and you know, I don't have, generally it's 2 players, so when I play games, so we don't have many party games. But When I Dream is a kind of Hanabi-esque kind of game where we have these kind of evocative huge cards, and one player is the dreamer and is blindfolded, and everyone around the table is just giving one clue to describe the card that's in their hand. But the trick is that some people get points for when the person guesses correctly, some people get points for when the person is made to guess incorrectly, and some people get points for when both of those piles are balanced. So it's really interesting. Being the guesser and the clue givers is always really, really unique. I've only played it, you know, we only played a couple of games of it, but I was really, really struck by, yeah, that's probably my favourite of that type that I've played, and yeah, I thought I'd mention it now. Next is Board and Dice, Hall 1, Stand K2. That's where Artipia are. Maybe they're together, maybe the Expo website is wrong. Anyway, they are going to have Blight Chronicles Agent Decker, which I think is based off Super Hot card game, which they had last year. This is a solo deck build game that I don't know that much about. It's on Kickstarter, or it has just been on Kickstarter. And yeah, we are trying to... We're not just trying to kill all of the enemies. There's an interesting way of trying to actually get the job done without it just being, you know, you can fail if you get to the bottom of the enemy stack. It's strange, you know, just regurgitating things that I've just seen about it, because yeah, there is a lot coming out, but I am looking forward to trying that. And their Escape Tales game, if you haven't seen the top 10, I've spoiled a bit of it. Next is Chip Theory Games, who are going to be in Hall 2, Stand E6. Really pleased that they're going to be at the UK Games Expo for the first time. They are going to have Too Many Bones, which is I'm told is, you know, more reminiscent of, you know, a turn-based RPG where we are, you know, we are heroes that have skill trees that we unlock dice for and get different abilities, but we are also having a kind of a dice-based combat system, but we are also on a field that we move around, and you know, positioning is important in it as well. It's one of their huge games, and I assume they're going to have, there's a 2-player version that called Undertow that's going to be for demo, and I assume they'll have all of their heroes and accessories and things for that. They're also going to have Triplock, which is a lock-picking puzzle game that I'm interested in trying, for mainly to see what the solo mode of that is like. Coiled Spring Games, Hall 1, Stand B18 are going to have Go Nuts for Donuts, which is a game where we are drafting cards from a display that will give us various points, but we have a hand of cards that correspond to these cards in the display, and we all in secret choose which number we want. And you get the one that you want if you're the only person that chose it, but if more than one person chose that card, nobody gets it. So I'm not sure how well that will work at 2 players. I'm not saying that it won't, because I don't know. But yeah, I'm really interested to try that out. It seems like a nice, lighter little card game. Next is Czech Games Edition Hall 1, Stand B2. They are going to be demoing the new version of Pictomania, which I can't show you because it's down below the table. But that is a fantastic 3+ player game where we're all drawing something at the same time. There is kind of a display showing you the different, a ton of different clues that are on offer. We're all drawing something at the same time and trying to guess everybody else's drawings simultaneously. So yeah, you can't. There are mechanisms in place to stop you just drawing and then guessing at the end, because you'll lose out, and you can't just not do your drawing and guess, because you lose points if people don't guess yours enough. It's a really, really fantastic game, and this is a new version of it. I'm not sure exactly what's changed, but I know that it comes in a smaller box. It's got pencils and big pads rather than dry white markers that the original version had. But looking forward to see what's changed, because it's a game that we don't get to play as often as I'd like, but yeah, it's a really, really fantastic one. Next is Dragon Dawn Productions, Hall 1, Stand L10. They are going to have Perdition's Mouth, Abyssal Rift, which I did a playthrough for not that long ago, which is a really nice, unique dungeon crawling game. You can see the playthrough for more on that, but they're also going to have new games to try there for demo. They're going to have Dwarf and Singularity Sky, and I'm looking forward to finding out more about those. Next is Formal Ferret Games, Hall 2, Stand F2, and I am looking forward to seeing all of the stuff that Gil has for the Networks expansion Executives. And there'll also be a mini expansion there that I might talk about more in the top 10 video. But yeah, Executives will be there to try. And next is Gatekeeper Games, Hall 1, Stand A12, and they are going to have The King's Armory, which again isn't on display because it's on a shelf up here. But that is a game that I've had for a while. It is a tower defense game, where enemies will relentlessly try to get through your castle gates, and you are building up towers and trying to run around the field and attack them yourself as well to try and stop them battering down the gates. It's definitely a long game, and that's why we don't play it as much as we probably should. But I think it's a really, really great one, and I thought it was worth mentioning because, yeah, who knows when I'm going to get to do a playthrough of it, but maybe there are a ton of extras for the game as well. Loads of extra heroes and little expansions and things that, due to postage between America and England, were things that are kind of left behind. But now that Gatekeeper are going to be there, I'm going to be checking out and seeing what extras they're going to have there. But it's a game definitely worth checking out, I think. Next is Gibson's Hall 1, Stand B20, and they're going to have Pixit, which is a new game from David Mortimer. It is a game where we have these dice that have various black and white pixels on them, and we will be rolling them and trying to make pictures out of the things that we've rolled. I don't know much more about it beyond that, but I'm excited about it. It's a more party style game, but yeah, I'm definitely intrigued to how that works. So that's Pixit from Gibson's. Next is Greater Than Games, Stand Hall 1, Stand D16. They are going to have Spirit Island, which is a game I did a playthrough for a few months ago. I think it's an absolutely incredible cooperative game, on the heavier side certainly, but it is really, really good. And I have no information about this, but I'm crossing my finger that they might have promo spirits for it, but who knows. Either way, it's worth trying out if you haven't tried it, and they've got it on demo, of course. But yeah, Spirit Island. Next is Grey Fox Games, Hall 1, Stand K2, and they are going to have Harvest Dice, which is a really nice roll and write game that I did a video for not that long ago, and you can check that out for more details. They're also going to have Rising 5 Runes of Asteros for demo there, which is another one that's, maybe I am peddling misinformation about it. The little fact that I've latched onto about it is that it is an app-driven game that uses elements of the game Mastermind. The old, where there's a coloured code that you are trying to, that one player sets the code and you are trying to guess it, and they tell you how many you've got right. I really, really used to love that game, so I'm looking forward to seeing what more is put around that. That's Rising 5. Next is Harbour, Hall 1, Stand A5. They are going to be bringing loads of games, a lot of which haven't come out in English yet, so worth checking out what they've got on the main list. But also they're going to have Karuba and Karuba the card game. I've done videos for both of those. I thought they were really good, and yeah, it's worth checking out if you can. Next is the HandyCon booth in Hall 2, stand B27. They are presumably going to be telling you all about HandyCon, but also you will be able to demo Scrumpy there, which is one I talked about last year. It's a cider-making deck builder game with worker placement involved. It's got several twists on deck building, and I'm really looking forward to trying out a full game of it, because I think we just had a quick test of it last year because we ran out of time. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what's changed and playing more of it, hopefully. Next is Inside the Box Games, and they are in Hall 1, stand D22. They're going to have a special 3D body scanning camera where you can have a little miniature made of yourself. I just saw that on Twitter. I thought that was worth mentioning. But they are going to have a lot of new demos that I don't have any information about, some Reiner Knizia games. But the one that jumped out at me was Castle Cards, because it is designed by Brett Gilbert and Matthew Dunstan, who are a great design team. Matthew Dunstan with Chris Marling did Pioneer Days. Together, Brett and Matthew did Elysium, which was fantastic. Professor Evil and Citadel of Time, I did a video for recently. It's a really nice co-op. Loads and loads of games. So with no information, I'm just looking forward to trying out what Castle Cards is. Luda Creations, Hall 1, stand J8. They are going to have demos of Mr. Cabbagehead's Garden, which I did a playthrough for not very long ago. It's a really nice 1 and 2 player puzzly, garden building-y kind of game with if whatever you say about the theme, you can't say it's not unique. And they're also going to have Crisis, which is a game about a financial crisis, where it's a semi-cooperative game where we are trying to make the most for ourselves, but not completely bankrupt everyone in the process. Next is Mighty Boards. Hall 1, stand K16, they are going to have Knights of Fire, Battle for Budapest, and Posthuman Saga, both of which I did playthroughs for. Knights of Fire is the sequel to Days of Ire, quite a different game, more on the war game side of things, but yeah, I did a playthrough for that, you can check out. Posthuman Saga, I think, is still on Kickstarter. Either way, I have a playthrough of that. And having now played the Fallout board game, and there'll be a video coming for that very soon, I have to say that Posthuman Saga is kind of more of what I was hoping for from the Fallout game. It's got that post-apocalyptic feel, and it's competitive, even though we're on our same maps exploring. We are going through these stories, though, that we are finding in a book, and maybe going through stories that chain into multiple encounters. And it's still got that it's got that kind of sense of humour that you would expect from Fallout game. Fallout game's got humour as well, but I was just thinking to myself the other day that is more, Posthuman was more what I wanted from it. Anyway, it's its own game, isn't it? And I think it's worth checking out. Also, they're going to have Vengeance, which is from a couple of years ago, I think, but it's when I saw it, when I got asked to add it to the list, the board game geek list, not this particular list. This is my choosing. But I remember from a couple of years ago, I'd completely forgotten all about it. It was one that was kind of on my radar to check out, and never saw it in a shop or at the Bring and Buy at the Expo or anything like that. So I'd forgotten all about it. But it's a Kill Bill-esque revenge game. I remember vaguely the Rado run through all that time ago. But looking into the description more, it's the combat is based on a puzzly dice system, which really sounds attractive, and just the look of it looks fantastic. And it's designed by, prepare yourself for incorrect pronunciation, Gordon Kaleha, who is the designer of Posthuman Saga. So that's another pro point for me anyway. So I definitely want to find out more about Vengeance. At the same booth in Hall 1, stand K16, is Mind Clash Games as well, and they are going to have Anachrony, which I did a playthrough for a while ago. That is another kind of post-apocalyptic game, very different, where we are, we can't go out into the world without going to these exosuits, and we can do special actions out there, but we are hopefully building things in our own player areas where we can send our scientists and engineers and things. It's a really, really cool, mind-bending-y, time-travel-y kind of game, and I did a video that will explain it much better than I can here. But they're also going to have the minis expansion, the Exosuit Commander Pack, which, yes, I will be probably like last year at the Expo, walking past that booth several times to stare at the beautiful miniatures where you can slot workers in. But they're going to have that there. And they're also going to have a demo of Cerebria, the Inside World, which I had kind of thought, we don't really get on with area control games, so I hadn't paid that much attention to it, but I know that it's going to have a big solo mode in it now, so I am going to be paying more attention to it, because based on Anachrony and Tricarian, their first game, I think, Mindclash put out generally very high quality games in terms of the games themselves, but also the production is usually ridiculously lavish in a very, very good way. So looking forward to seeing more about Cerebria. Quality Beast in Hall 2 stands C13 are going to have a demo of Seize the Bean, which, if you saw my playthrough last year, or was it a few months ago? Time is just blurring all into one at the moment, but Seize the Bean is a deck builder with a unique twist where, you're going to have a line of customers, and the cards that you add to your deck are more customers that you are hoping to serve, while you are also doing a bit of engine building, trying to beef up the actions for the little bit of worker placement within it as well. I did a playthrough for the Kickstarter prototype, and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. So if you get a chance to demo that, I would definitely go to the Quality Beast booth at some point. Next is Rotten Games in Hall 1, stand L11, and they're going to have Off the Rails. That is a kind of wacky minecart adventure where we are goblins desperately trying to build our own tracks to get to all of these different gems, and probably inevitably all crash into each other. It's one that I did a prototype playthrough for back when the Kickstarter was on, so you'll probably be seeing a more final version. I probably shouldn't say that without finding out first, but maybe there will be one. You can see the video if you'd like to find out more, or you can go and see what is going to be there in real life in person. Sinister Fish Games are going to be in Hall 1, stand G3, and they're going to have Villagers, which is a game I did a playthrough for very recently. That's still on Kickstarter, hopefully. And yeah, it's really, really taken off. Got a ton of money last time I checked and unlocked all sorts of stretch goals. It's a game where you are trying to get villagers, hence the name, that will perform certain tasks, and they will kind of unlock your ability to get different kinds of villagers, or they will give you access to draft more villagers, or maybe put more villagers out in a different phase and put coins on. If you get a villager that's really good at unlocking other villagers, they will get tons of coins on, which translate to points. Yeah, again, the playthrough will do a much better job at explaining the game itself, but I thought this one was really special and definitely worth your time. They'll also have the Gloomhaven removable sticker set there, which if you have Gloomhaven and you'd like to keep it a bit more replayable, then removable stickers are the way, aren't they, really? Spiral Galaxy Games in Hall 1, stand J6, will be showing off ReFloristation, which I did a video for almost a year ago. It's going to be relaunching on Kickstarter, and I imagine things will have changed. The artwork's certainly changed on it. It's going to have a solo campaign and stuff, which I did a little bit of last year, but it's going to have a story and stuff to it now. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what's changed there, and again, I think it's a game worth checking out. Stonemaier Games aren't going to be there, but they are going to be selling this through Board Game Extras, Hall 1, stand J2. It is Viticulture, Visit from the Rhine Valley, which is another small expansion with a completely different set of cards to use in Viticulture, which is a game we really like, so looking forward to seeing what changes this makes to it. Surprised Stare Games, Hall 1, stand D8 are going to have Snowdonia, The Siege of Petersburg, / The Channel Tunnel 1881, and this is just 2 new scenarios for Snowdonia, which is a game I've gone on and on about. I really love it, and yeah, this is one that completely slipped my mind. It was in my Essen preview, and over the course of running backwards and forwards over a few days at Essen last year, I completely forgot to pick it up, so hopefully we'll fix that this year at the Expo. Taiwan Board Game Design in Hall 2, stand B15. It's great to see them at the Expo for the first time. They collaboratively represent lots of Taiwanese designers and publishers, and they are going to have a wide variety of stuff there, but some new things that I picked out. Rescue Polar Bears, Data and Temperature was on my Essen preview list. That looks like a really interesting cooperative game. It's been picked up by an American company, I think, to do their version of it, but yeah, I think that's going to be worth checking out. And also Dice Fishing, Roll and Catch. I've been talking for a while now, my voice is failing me. Well, that wasn't my voice, was it? You get what I mean. You've stayed with me to this point. We can just have a chat for a bit, can't we? Anyway, dice fishing, roll and catch. That's all I need to know. I'm going to be investigating more to see what the actual game is like. But yeah, that's all it took to draw me in, and I want to find out more. The City of Games will be in Hall 1, stand D4, messing with my alphabetizing because I just did A to Z and the isn't supposed to be a sorting word. Anyway, it's too late for that, isn't it? They are going to have the City of Kings, which I did a video for recently, an immense role-playing experience where we're going on different stories and adventures, upgrading our characters and taking on some fiendish enemies. A very puzzly role-playing game as well, but yeah, you can see the video for more information on that, and you'll also be able to demo Vodoran Gardens, which is set in the same world but a completely different game to City of Kings. Did a prototype playthrough for that as well. There we are trying to build these gardens up and try and match certain sets of symbols to gain achievements or get big enough areas that they will score at the end. It's a really, really cool card game. Can you tell that, yeah, things are kind of failing me now. Finally, we have Themeborn Limited in Hall 1, stand E20, and they are going to have Escape the Dark Castle, which is a very interesting looking game where we're trying to escape the Dark Castle. It's got a very striking look to it, and yeah, I'm very intrigued. I wonder if we will be held off by, I've complained about dice enough in videos and my particular issues with them, but yeah, I am looking forward to trying it and seeing if it will be one to explore more. But yeah, I don't seem to be able to construct normal sentences now, so it's probably good that that's the end of the list. If you are at the UK Games Expo, I hope to see you there. You can check out my geek list that I put together that's just all of the games that publishers wanted to tell me about. There'll probably be more there because there are still people that didn't get in touch with me, but that's just the way of things, isn't it? You can see Peter's Tabletop Together tool. That is a fantastic way of making your own wants lists and things, and yeah, you can just prioritize and it will give you nice lists generated from the wants list that you made, showing you where to go and how much stuff was. But yeah, prices weren't said much in the list, so it's something you'll have to be surprised by while you're there. But yeah, hope that we see you at the I have to mention at the end, don't I mentioned it at the top 10, not in this video. There will be a live show, 9 PM on Friday in the Toot Suite, the Gaming Rules and Friends live show. I am one of those friends, and heavy cardboard and creaking shelves and other special guests will be there also. And there is a charity raffle on Saturday night at on the main stage at 7:30, I believe. Tickets start going on sale at 6:30, or if you can find Paul Grogan at some point before then, he can sell you some tickets. Loads of publishers have donated games, and it's all for charity. So it's worth going to, and I'll be there. So they are two places that I can for sure say that I will be at those times in those places. Thank you for watching, everybody. I'm going to stop talking for a long while now. See you for the next game. Bye.